small quotes are there. So it is mentioned in the fourth chapter, 39th verse. It is mentioned that a person faithful to a particular type of worship gradually becomes elevated to the stage of knowledge and attains the highest perfectional stage of peace and prosperity. So why Prabhupada is quoting this? And because Arjuna has asked about the faith. And so Prabhupada is telling regarding faith. If person is faithful, and so what is the verse in fourth chapter 39 verse? Shraddhavan labhate jnanam tatpara sayyatendriya. And this is the verse, means a person faithful to a particular type of worship and will attain knowledge and will elevate it to the stage of knowledge. He will get Shraddhavan Labhate Jnanam and higher perfectional stage of peace and prosperity. And he will be elevated. He will promoted to higher stage. And sorry, not higher, highest and highest devotee platform and perfectional stage of peace and prosperity. And so he will attain the highest stage. So that Prabhupada is telling. Because Arjuna has mentioned regarding the faith. In the sixth chapter, it is concluded that one who doesn't follow, sorry, in the 16th, last chapter, uh, it is concluded that one who doesn't follow the principles laid down in the scriptures is called an asura, demoniac, that we discussed. One who follows the scriptural injunction faithfully is called deva or demigod. This point we have studied in the beginning only. So now, if one with faith follows some rules which are not mentioned in the scriptures, sorry, in the scriptural injunctions, what is his position? So now, this is the Arjuna's question. Yeah. What is his position? Whose position? Who is follows some rules which are not in the scriptural injunctions. He's following rule, but not from the scriptures. And this doubt of Arjuna is to be cleared by Krishna, because he has asked, and are those who create some sort of God by selecting a human being and placing their faith in him, worshipping in goodness, passion, or ignorance? So, Prabhupada is telling that Arjuna's emotion is what Arjuna is asking, and which God they are worshipping. They are worshipping, but which type of God, and whom they are thinking as God, and what about their faith? And they are worshipping in passion and ignorance or goodness. Among three modes where they fall. Do such person attain the perfectional stage of life? Is it possible for them to be situated in real knowledge and elevate themselves to the highest perfectional stage? So these are some Arjunas. He has not asked in the by the words, but Prabhupada is telling, and what is the Arjuna's emotions? And so this is the Arjuna's emotions which Prabhupada is telling. Do those who do not follow the rules and regulations of the scriptures, but who have faith in something and worship gods and demigods and men attain success in their effort? Do they really succeed in their effort? Arjuna is putting these questions to Krishna. So Prabhupada has elaborated on the Arjuna's question. And so what are the points Prabhupada has mentioned? Do such persons attain perfectional stage of life? And this is one of the questions. First is where they fall. And second is, do they attain perfection? Third is, do they have the real knowledge? And will they be elevated? And that is third. And those who do not follow the rules and regulations, uh, success in there. This already has Prabhupada mentioned success. Perfectional stage means success only. Yeah. Then these 3 points Prabhupada is adding, yeah, to the understanding. Clear? And then Acharya, something if they have added, we'll just see. So Acharya is also adding on this question. So they are telling the Sanskrit word aho. Hmm. So aho is used. Krishna has used the word aho. Hmm. So regarding this word, the meaning of this word is they are telling that this is the uh, interrogative part word in the Sanskrit. So what is the interrogative word means? For asking the question. Hmm. This word is used in Sanskrit, interrogative. Then meaning of this word is there are only two options, and which first option is goodness, and second option is passion and ignorance. So Acharya is telling that, so Arjuna's question is, Arjuna is asking, are they fall in goodness or they fall in passion and ignorance? And so this aho word is used when there are only two options, and yes or no. When there are two options, so these are only two options. Like Baldev Vidyabhushan is asking, and not there are three options are not there. So Arjuna has combined second and third option in second option only. And this is the different point they have given. Remaining are the same. Then next question we see. So now Krishna will answer the Arjuna's question. What Krishna is saying, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Trividha Bhavati Shraddha Dehinam Sa Svabhavaja Satviki Rajasi Chaiva Tamasi Cheti Tam Shruno. So Krishna is saying, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, according to the modes of nature acquired by the embodied soul, one's faith can be of three kinds: in goodness, in passion, or ignorance. Now, hear about these. So, Krishna is telling their faith, where it falls. So, Krishna is telling it may fall in goodness, passion, and ignorance. Krishna has now given three options: goodness, passion, and ignorance. Translation clear? So now, those who know the rules and regulations of the scriptures, but out of laziness and indolence, give give up following these rules and regulations are governed by the modes of material nature. So Prabhupada is telling who are the people and comes in this category. So some examples Prabhupada is giving. And those people and who know the rules and regulations from where? From the scriptures. And but they do not follow out of laziness or indolence. And so they do not follow because of any reasons. So some reasons Prabhupada given laziness and indolence are governed by the modes of material nature. Means they come in these three modes. Which people? They know, but they do not follow. This is one type of people. They come in this category. Many others also, they will come and in this category. But one example Prabhupada has given me. Somebody can read the purport.
According to their previous according to their previous activities, in the mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance, they acquire a nature which is of a specific quality. The association of the living entity with the different modes of nature has been going on perpetually. Since the living entity is in contact with material nature, he acquires different types of mentality according to his association with the material modes. But this nature can be changed if one associates with a bona fide spiritual master and abides by his rules and the scriptures. Gradually, one can change his position from ignorance to goodness or from passion to goodness. The conclusion is that blind faith in a particular mode of nature cannot help a person become elevated to the perfectional stage. One has to consider things carefully with intelligence in the association of a bona fide spiritual master. Thus, one can change his position to a higher mode of nature.
Thank you. In sense, what he's telling in this paragraph is that how to change the influence of the mode. And now it is clear that Krishna has mentioned they fall in the three modes. And but how to elevate ourselves in the modes? And so Prabhupada is giving hint on that. What is telling? With the help of a spiritual master. He has mentioned here. Um, His nature can be changed if one associate with a bona fide spiritual master. And so if we want to change our modes and this nature, and which nature? That not following the scriptures, but and worshipping. And if that we want to change, then we have to associate with spiritual mastery. And he association means we have to hear from him. And what he will speak? He will speak from the scriptures, and he will not do prajalpa, and abide by his rules and the scriptures. And so automatically, when we associate with spiritual master, what happens? We will be under the rules of scriptures, and under the rules and scriptures also automatically. Because what happens? The bona fide spiritual master. So he is not just namesake spiritual master. He is a bona fide spiritual master. Means he is coming in disciplic succession. So if one does that, then one will elevate himself in the modes. And after that, what is required? Consider things carefully. And whatever he has taught, that we have to hear carefully, consider and contemplate on these things very carefully with attention. We have to do and with intelligence and careful also, and with intelligence also. We have to use our intelligence in hearing, in understanding, in applying and his instructions in the association of a bona fide that already told. Thus, one can change his position to a higher mode. Yeah. So in this way, one can change. And what will not help So this is the way for what? Elevating ourselves in the mode. And, and what we should not do. And this we should do. And what we should not do, that also Prabhupada has mentioned. Prabhupada is mentioning that blind faith in a particular mode of nature cannot help a person become elevated to the perfectional stage. So blind faith we should not put. And also faith should not be blind. And particular mode of nature. So blindly we should not follow a particular mode, means without thinking. We should not follow. We should contemplate and hear from the bona fide spiritual master. That we should do. And we should not follow without thinking, act without thinking, blindly following. That we should not do. Prabhupada has explained. So Acharyas, they are telling, Prabhupada also has mentioned in very short that how it is decided that one is particular, one is falling in the particular type of mode, and who decides? And so who decides? The association of the living entity with the different modes has been going on perpetually, and so it is going on association. Since the living entity is in contact with material nature, he acquires different types of mentality according to his association with the modes of nature. So how? Because of his association with the this material nature, and he is falling under the modes, and that Prabhupada has mentioned. But how one's association is decided with the material nature, and how it is decided, one's association? So it depends upon our swabhava, means our nature. And how swabhava comes? That it comes from previous impression. And previous impression means previous karma. And so according to our previous karma, our swabhava is decided. And by that swabhava, what is happening? Our association with the modes of material nature. First, material nature is decided, and after that, it is decided that we fall in which mode. And so this is the reason Acharya they have given, and so how it is decided. And what happened when we hear from the devotees? They are mentioning, and when we hear from the devotees, or a Prabhupada is mentioning here bona fide spiritual master, and slowly, if we hear attentively, carefully, with intelligence, what happens? Our previous swabhav is destroyed, and previous wrong swabhav is destroyed. Unfavorable swabhav is destroyed. Means our previous karma is destroyed, and hearing from the bona fide spiritual master. Therefore, we should, Prabhupada has mentioned here, we should hear from a bona fide spiritual master. And when we are reading the text written by bona fide spiritual master, and we are reading the text written by Srila Prabhupada, reading from the previous Acharya Baldev Vidyabhushan Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, what we are doing? We are hearing from them. So this is very important. And hearing from the Acharyas and understanding what they are speaking. So this is very important. And this will destroy our previous karma. and our swabhava will also be changed, and because of this, just from hearing. And our faith will be a scriptural faith, and our faith will be based on the scriptures. That is called as Shastrik Shraddha. So this Shastrik Shraddha and Shraddha developed by the Shastras and understanding the Shastras will increase and will develop this Shraddha. Clear? So this Krishna has answered. So Krishna just now what he has told, that they fall in their faith fall in the three categories, and goodness, passion, and ignorance. After that is mentioning सत्वानुरूप सर्वस्य श्रद्धा भवति भारत श्रद्धामयोऽयं पुरुषो यो यच् श्रद्ध स एव सः. Son of Bharata, according to one's existence under the various modes of nature, one evolves a particular kind of faith. So how faith is developed? According to the modes, and where that person is. And various modes mean three modes. So where that person is in which mode, according to that, a particular kind of faith is developed. A living being is said to be of particular faith according to the modes he has acquired. Same sentence, and same point Prabhupada, Krishna has mentioned. And what Krishna is telling, that the living being is said to be of a particular faith. And how faith is decided, and based on the modes he has acquired. So same point in different words Krishna has mentioned. So what Krishna has mentioned, one's faith is decided by in which mode he falls. And so simple. So everyone has a particular type of faith, regardless of what he is. So even faithless also has a faith, and that they do not have faith. But his faith is considered a good, passionate, or ignorant according to the nature he has acquired. So according to the mode he has acquired, faith is decided. Thus, according to the particular type of faith, one associate with a certain person. So first is there, person is there in the particular mode, and particular mode person is there. And because of this mode, faith is decided. And because of this faith, one's association is decided. Like that Prabhupada is telling. And so somebody is in ignorance, and he will like the people with the ignorance only. And so he will associate with the people in the ignorance. So that will be his association. So alone somebody can read.
Now the real fact is that every living being as is stated in the different chapters, is originally a fragmental part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, one is originally transcendental to all the modes of material nature. But when one forgets the relationship, one forgets his relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead and comes into contact with the material nature in conditional life. he generates his own position by associating by association with the different varieties of material nature. The resultant artificial faith and existence are only material.
Thank you, bro.
Thank you,
So
brother.
what Prabhupada is mentioning, at first Prabhupada is mentioning from the 15th chapter. So what is the verse Prabhupada is mentioning from the 15th chapter? Is the Mame Vansho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Manashasthani Indriyani Prakrutisthani Karshati. And so what Prabhupada is mentioning, every living being and is originally a fragmental part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Mame Vansho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Therefore, one is originally transcendental and to all the of material nature. So, regarding Jiva, Prabhupada is telling. So, Jiva originally is pure, and transcendental means is above modes, and pure means not contaminated, and not contaminated by any mode, and that Prabhupada is telling. And transcendental means above the modes, and he will not fall in any mode, and he is above the mode. Clear? After that, what he is telling? When one forgets his relationship with the Supreme Lord, and so this already we have studied, and in 13th chapter, 14, 15 chapter. So when one is forgetful of the Lord, then one comes in the contact of material world, and or material nature. Material world is made up of material nature. Material nature is made up of three modes. Correct? He generates his own position by association with the different varieties of material nature. So according to his impression, previous karma, he decides which mode he is attracted to, and among the three. And the resultant artificial faith and existence are only material. And so all these faith are material because they are in the material world only. This goodness, passion, and ignorance. Clear? Somebody can read green one.
Although one may be conduct Although one may be conducted by some impression or some conception of life, originally he is nirguna or transcendental. Therefore, one has to become cleansed of the material contamination that he has acquired. In order to regain his relationship with the Supreme Lord, that is the only path back without fear. Krishna consciousness. If one is situated in Krishna consciousness, then that path is guaranteed for his elevation to the perfectional stage. If one does not take to this path of self realization, then he is surely to be conducted by the influence of the modes of nature.
Thank you, bro. So what is the problem according to previous paragraph? So problem is what? Jiva has become forgetful of whom? Supreme Personality of God. And so that is the problem. And so Jiva is pure by nature. And when problem is coming, when he is coming in the three modes, when he is forgetful of the Lord and he is falling, and we studied. So now Prabhupada is telling, so why he is coming, although one has some impression and from the previous life, and impression means some conceptions of his life, and but originally what, he is a nirguna or transcendental, and originally all jivas are what, pure, and they have some impression and conception. Why it is coming? Because they are forgetful of the Lord and they are associating with what, material nature. So that's why it is coming. Therefore, one has become cleansed. And if one become clean of this dirt arise due to forgetfulness of the Lord, and then what happens? Material contamination that he has acquired, and in order to regain his relationship with Lord. And if he regains his relationship with the Lord, then what happens? He will be cleansed. And if one makes relationship with the Lord, then his contamination will be cleansed. And his association with the modes will be cleansed. And so that is the only path, and only path to path back without fear. So in this path, there is no fear, no risk, and no worry. In 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is mentioned a person can run on this path. How he can run? By his eyes closed. And so the person who is blind, for him, what is difficult? Walking is also really difficult. But on this path of bhakti, on this path of Krishna consciousness, and even person can um, run even with eyes closed, and even blind person can also walk this path of pure devotional service. And if one is situated in Krishna consciousness, then that path is guaranteed. And if we follow the path of bhakti and path of Krishna consciousness and path of devotional service, then what happens? Our elevation to perfectional stage, perfection, and is sure, guaranteed, and we will be free from the influence of three modes. And if one doesn't take to this path of self-realization, this path of devotional service, then he is surely to be conducted by the influence of modes of nature. And he has not purified himself by the path of devotional service. Then what happened? He will be impure because he has not cleaned, and impurity is modes of nature, three modes of nature. Correct? Simple concept Prabhupada has explained, and all of you have know this before also. And somebody can read this last paragraph.
The word Shraddha or faith is very insignificant. In this verse, Shraddha or faith originally comes out of the mode of goodness. One's faith may be in a demigod or some created god or some mental fun person. One's strong faith is supposed to be productive of works of material goodness. But in material conditional life, no one works are completely purified. They are mixed. They are not in pure goodness. Pure goodness is transcendental. In purified goodness, one can understand the real nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As long as one's faith is not completely in purified goodness, the faith is subject to contamination by any of the mode of material nature. The contaminated modes of material nature expand to the heart. Therefore, according to the position of the heart, in contact with a particular mode of material nature, once faith is established. It should be understood that if one's heart is in the mode of goodness, his faith is also in the mode of goodness. If his heart is in the mode of passion, his faith is also in the mode of passion. And if his heart is in the mode of darkness, illusion, his faith is also thus contaminated. Thus, we find different types of faith in this world, and there are different types of religion due to different types of faith. The real principle of religion, the real principle of religious faith is situated in the mode of pure goodness. But because the heart is tainted with, we find different types of religious principle. Thus, according to different types of faith, there are different kinds of worship. Hare Krishna.
the word faith. And so before this, I forgot to explain little bit on this statement that here Prabhupada has made one statement that mm, statement from that mm, statement that Hmm. In this verse only, sorry, not in previous verse. No. So here Prabhupada has mentioned everyone has a particular type of faith, and so everyone has a faith, and so you may say that atheist and he is not a faithful person, and he doesn't have a faith, and but then why Prabhupada is telling everyone? And so atheist, he also has a faith, and he has a faith in what? Faith in what? In non-existence of God. And the God doesn't exist. And that he has faith. And so in that sense, Prabhupada is telling here that everyone is a faithful. And so everyone has a faith. So now he's explaining the word faith, Prabhupada. And so he's telling is very significant in this verse, which Krishna has used. Shraddha or faith originally comes out of the mode of goodness. And this faith, and Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. And so this faith is very important. And because of faith, one gets the knowledge. Krishna has mentioned in 4th chapter. And so, somebody has a faith means he is in a goodness and in broad sense. And then Prabhupada is mentioning one's faith may be in a demigod. And if one believes in the demigod or some created god or some mental concoction. And so one may believe any of the three. And one's strong faith is supposed to be productive of works of material goodness. And so how much strong he has a faith, and that depends on the how much goodness he has. But in material condition life, no works are completely purified. But in material world, every work is contaminated. Previously also, Krishna has mentioned. They are not in pure goodness. Why they are contaminated? Because they are coming under the modes. Whatever material world you do, any activity you do on the material level, and so that will fall in the three modes. And it is falling in the three modes means it is contaminated. Correct? They are mixed. They are not in pure goodness. And they are not pure goodness means transcendental stage. And above the three modes is the pure goodness. Pure goodness is here mentioned proper. Next statement only. Pure goodness is transcendental, and in purified goodness, one can understand the real nature of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And so, in this goodness, purified goodness, or in this transcendental stage, whatever, one understand the Krishna, Supreme Personality of Godhead. As long as one faith is not completely in purified goodness, the faith is subjected to contamination by any of the modes of material nature. So now the faith, regarding faith. If one doesn't have faith in Krishna, purified goodness means transcendental faith. If doesn't have faith in spiritual thing and transcendental thing, then where is its faith is falling? In the three modes. And if it not is in Krishna, then where? In three modes. And so that's why one is not in the sunlight when he is in the darkness. And therefore, according to the position of the heart in contact with a particular type of modes of material nature, one's faith is established. And so same point we have discussed previously, that according to the our mode, our faith is decided. It should be understood that if one's heart is in the mode of goodness, his faith is also in the mode of goodness. If his heart is in the mode of passion, his faith is in the mode of passion. And if his heart is in the mode of darkness, illusion, his faith is also in the contaminated. And say, modes decide the faith. Thus, we find different types of faith in this world, and there are different types of religions due to different types of faith. So why there are different religions? Because there are different faith. And so based on this faith, why there are different faith? Because persons are in the different modes. And everybody is not there in one mode only. And so different people are there in different modes. That's why they have different faith. And because of different faith, they have different religion. Correct? The real principles of religious faith is situated in the mode of pure goodness. But real religion is what? Krishna consciousness, which is transcendental. And real religion is transcendental. It is pure goodness. And that is Krishna consciousness. But because the heart is painted with different types of religious principles, according to different types of faith, there are different kinds of worship. And this is real faith, but people's heart is contaminated. Heart is in different modes. That's why they have different faith, and they are acting, they have different religions, different kinds of worship. Clear? So what Krishna has mentioned is that, so according to, essence is, according to one's modes, one's faith is decided. And previous verse, Krishna has mentioned the three modes, and the person is there in the three modes that is mentioned in the verse 2. And in verse 3, Krishna has mentioned, according to modes, is faith. Verse 3 says there are three faiths, and according to the three modes. Clear? So Krishna is giving answer to Arjuna's question. The two verses as Krishna has spoken till now, and giving answer to Arjuna's question. In fourth verse, what Krishna is telling, Yajante satvika devan yaksha rakshamsi rajasa pretan bhuta ganas channe yajante tamasa jana. So now Krishna is telling about the who are the people which they comes in different modes. Men in the mode of goodness and worship the demigods. And those who are in the goodness, whom they are worshipping, demigod, devata. Those who are in the mode of passion, they are worshipping the daityas or demon. Those in the ignorance, and whom they worship, the ghost and spirit. And ghost means bhoot, and the gana means ghost, and pretan, spirit. Bhoot and pret they worship, and bhoot and pret means ghost and spirits. You will understand what is bhoot and pret. So goodness people, they worship the demigod. Passionate people, they worship the demon. We know what is demigod, what is demon. Now bhoot and preta, we'll just learn about them. Who is a ghost. And so bhuta means ghost. We'll just see who is a bhuta. Bhuta means a ghost. And who is the ghost? Means person has a soul, and plus subtle body, and this much only he has. Sorry. No gross body. Gross body is not there. That person is a ghost. And what we have? We have a soul and gross body and subtle body. But this bhuta and ghost doesn't have a gross body. And this is a bhuta. And then what is a preta? Preta, sorry. Preta is what? This person has a soul body, sorry, soul, and then subtle body, and a transitional body. Means what is there? Preta means if you in Marathi, here in English, it is called spirit. And so preta means is a dead body. And so what happens at the time of death? And so soul leaves the body, one body, soul and subtle body, and leaves the gross body. And then they move to another gross body, correct? Soul and subtle body, they leaves one gross body at the time of death, and they enter into another. This is old gross body. They enter in new gross body, and at the time of death. But when they are leaving, and this transition is happening, and so at that time, and so it is not complete gross body. And so there is partial gross body, or we can say partial is the correct word. So partial gross body is there. So these kind of people are called preta, spirit, and understood. So person at the deathbed and is a preta, spirit. And in Marathi, this preta word means dead body. And so Sanskrit word preta is also a dead body. And in Hindi we call lash, and preta means lash, and that is spirit. So preta means lash and spirit, and bhuta means ghost. And understand. So the person, those who are in the ignorance, they worship this bhuta and preta. And so Krishna is telling. So where they worship? Correct. Somebody can read the paragraph.
In this verse, the Supreme Personality of Godhead describes different kinds of worshippers according to their external activities. According to scriptural injunctions, only the Supreme Personality of Godhead is worshipable. But those who are not very conversant with or faithful to the scriptural injunctions worship different objects according to their specific situation in the mode of material nature. Those who are situated in goodness generally worship the demigod. The demigod include Brahma, Shiva, and others such as Indra, Chandra, and the sun god. There are various demigods. Those in goodness worship a particular demigod for a particular purpose. Similarly, those who are in the mode of passion worship the demons. We recall that during the Second World War, a man in Calcutta worshipped Hitler because Hans to that war, he was amassed a large amount of wealth by dealing in black market. Similarly, those in modes of passion and ignorance generally select a powerful man to be God. They think that anyone can be worshipped as God and that the same result will be obtained. Now it is clearly described here that those who are in the mode of passion worship and creates such gods, and those who are in the modes of ignorance in darkness worship dead spirits. Sometimes people worship at a tomb of some dead man. Sexual service is also considered to be the mode of darkness. Similarly, in remote villages in India, there are worshippers of ghosts. We have we have seen that in India, the lower class people sometimes go to the forest, and if they have knowledge that a ghost lives in a tree, they worship that tree and offer sacrifices. These different kinds of worships are not actually God worship. God worship is for persons who are transcendently situated in pure goodness. In the Srimad Bhagavatam 4.3.23, it is said, Svatvam Vishud Sattvam Vishuddham Vasudeva
Shabditam.
Saptitam. When a man is situated in pure goodness, he worships Vasudev. The purport is that those who are completely purified of the material modes of nature and who are transcendently situated can worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
So, but only 1 2 points are there. That first, Prabhupada is mentioning that different kinds of worshippers according to their external activities. Three kinds of worshipper according to their three kinds of activities Krishna has mentioned. So according to scriptural injunctions, and who is worshipable? Krishna is only worshipable. So why then there are different category? Because they are not following the scriptures and conversant with faithful to scriptural injunction. That's why there are different categories. And those who are in the goodness, and so they whom they are worshipping demigod. So who are the demigod? Prabhupada is telling Brahma, Shiva, Indra, Chandra, Surya. They are the demigods, and they come in the category of goodness. And so those who are in the passion, they worship the demon. And so, for example, Prabhupada is giving how person worships a demon. Like a Hitler is a one of the demon, and because he has mentality of demoniac people. So one is worshipping the Hitler, because he is getting benefit from the black market. So that's why he's worshipping him. And so those who are in the mode of passion and ignorance generally select a powerful man to be a god. So they consider any powerful man to be a god. Those who are in the passion of ignorance. This Prabhupada, his own understanding he's giving. Now it is clearly described here that those who are in the mode of passion worship create such gods, and those who are in the mode of ignorance and darkness worship dead spirits and pretas, bhuta and preta. Sometimes people worship at the tomb of some dead man. Sexual service is also considered to be in the mode of darkness, and so they use worship the bhutas and pretas in the form of sexual service also. Similarly, in remote villages in India, there are worshipper of ghost, and in villages you will see tantric, and they worship the ghost and pret spirits. We have seen that in India, lower class people sometimes go to the forest, and if they have knowledge that a ghost lives in a tree, they worship that tree and offer sacrifices. So those different kinds of worships are not actually God worship, and God worship is when a man is situated in a pure goodness, when he is above the three modes, he is worshipping the Krishna, God worship of Vasudev, Krishna. And the purport is that those who are completely purified of the material modes of nature and who are transcendentally situated can worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And who can worship Krishna? One who is above the modes only can worship the Krishna. And those who are in the modes whom they worship, those who are in the passion and ignorance, they worship a human being as a god. And then they worship the ghost and spirit by going to the jungle. And those who are in the goodness whom they worship, the demigods. This much only is the point here. A little bit elaborated. Next, impersonalist, somebody can read.
The impersonalists are supposed to be situated in the mode of goodness and they worship five kinds of demigods. They worship the impersonal Vishnu form in the material world, which is known as philosophized Vishnu. Vishnu is the expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but the impersonalist, because they do not ultimately believe in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Imagine that the Vishnu form is just another aspect of the impersonal Brahman. Similarly, they imagine that Lord Brahma is the impersonal form in the material mode of passion. Thus, they sometimes describe five kinds of gods that are worshipable, but because they think that the actual truth is impersonal Brahman, they dispose of all worshipable objects at the ultimate end. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So, the impersonalist comes in which category? In the under the modes of goodness. And so, why they come in the mode of goodness category? Because they worship the five kinds of demigods. And they panchopasana, and they call this impersonalist. If you go to the Shankaracharya's mutt, and so they have five temples, and their mutt in Sringeri, and any mutt, if you go, you will find there are five temples. And who are they? Vishnu and impersonal Vishnu. And first it is mentioned. Then and they consider this Vishnu form as a impersonal Brahman. And they imagine that Brahma is the impersonal form of the material mode of passion. And they worship Brahma also. And they sometimes describes five kinds of God that are worshipable. But because they think that actual truth is impersonal, they dispose all worshipable objects at the ultimate end. So absolute, first they consider the form, five demigods they consider, but ultimate absolute truth they consider is impersonal. And so after some times they reject the demigod. That is the problem. Impersonalist, Mayavadi people. And in the beginning they worship, and they say after some time when we become liberated, then they reject the worship of five demigods. And why they reject? Because they consider absolute truth is impersonal and it doesn't have any form, so they reject the form. At the end they do like this. That point Prabhupada has mentioned. In conclusion, the different qualities of the material modes of nature can be purified through the association with person who are transcendental nature. In conclusion, what Prabhupada is telling that we are there in the modes, three modes, but how we can get out of these three modes, how we can be purified of these three modes, and with persons who are of transcendental nature. And means who are the person who have transcendental nature? Devotees. With association of devotees, we can be purified. The association means hearing from them, and that is association. And hearing their instruction, hearing their classes is the association. And So this is the Prabhupada has explained. Understood? So Krishna's answer, Prabhupada is mentioned. So some points from the Acharyas is that so now here in the beginning, Prabhupada has mentioned that faith is there, and faith is in the goodness, and then why it is mentioned that faith is in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. And so acharyas, they are explaining the reason that although faith means sattva guna, faith means goodness, and but what is happening that the faith who has jiva has the faith, and this jiva, what is happening with this jiva is that jiva has a subtle body and subtle organs, and these subtle organs, they carry the subtle body, and subtle organs means subtle body. In subtle body, what comes? Somebody can tell.
Mind, intelligence, and false ego.
Oh, correct. So mind, intelligence, and false ego. And so this is coming from where? Previous birth and a subtle body. And in this subtle body, mind is the storehouse of memory, and mind contains the memory. So in this memory, jiva is storing the impression of previous life, and although we are not currently not remembering, and because Krishna has given that forgetfulness, but based on this subtle body's memory, jiva uh, is coming, and basically because of all this subtle body, jiva is coming in this world, and he is following particular mode, and, and how one is getting subtle body because of previous karma, and so that's why although faith is in the goodness, and so this is mentioned by acharyas, and they are giving the reference. And although faith is in goodness, then why Krishna is telling that there are three modes and three kinds of faith? Understood? Otherwise, one may have doubt. So, although faith comes in the mode of goodness, then why Krishna is telling faith comes in three modes? Okay? The remaining point, they are same. Just acharyas, they have given the reason and why Krishna is speaking like this. Okay. So now it is mentioned that these impersonalists, they worship the five kinds of demigods. So one may have curiosity. So which are the five demigods they worship? So number one, I have told that they worship Vishnu, which Prabhupada has written, and they worship the Vishnu. Number two, they worship is Shiva, Lord Shiva. Number three, they worship the Ganesha, Ganapati. And number three, they worship, number four, they worship the sun god. And number five, they worship the Shakti, and Shakti of the Lord. So these five deities they worship impersonalists. Correct? So we'll take break for 10 minutes. We have completed 4 verses. So we'll meet at 6:58. So till now, Krishna has just till now exactly completely Krishna has not answered the Arjuna's question. And so now in this verse, he will answer Arjuna's question. So what he is telling, 2 verses are combined. Ashastra vihitam ghoram tapyante ye tapojana dambha ahankar sanyukta kamaraga balanvita कर्षायन्तः शरीरस्थं भूतग्रामम् अचेतसः माम चैवान्तः शरीरस्थं तान् विद्या असुर निश्चयान्. Was telling those who undergo severe austerities and penances not recommended in the scriptures, performing them out of pride and egoism, who are impelled by lust and attachment, who are foolish and who torture the material elements of the body as well as the super soul dwelling within, are to be known as demons. And so those who are not following the scriptures and worshipping, they are the demons. They are doing severe austerity, penances, and but not recommended in the scriptures. So you might have seen the people who pluck their hairs, and you might have seen the people who beat themselves with whips, and they are doing what? Penances which are not recommended in the scriptures. And why they are doing such a penances? And because they get pride and they think themselves great by doing these kind of activities, and they for ego also, and they think themselves very ascetic and very tapasvi. They think very great, and they think themselves, and they are, what is their intention behind in the heart? They are impelled by lust and attachment. Actually they are foolish. Why foolish? Because they are not following devotional service, which is very easy, and who torture the material element of the body as well as the super soul. They torture the body and super soul also. So Krishna has used the word mam. Mam means me. So me means here super soul, which Krishna is residing in the body. And so they are the demonic people. So these are the person who not acting according to the scriptures. Somebody can read.
There are persons who manufacture modes of austerity and penance which are not mentioned in the scriptural injunctions. For instance, fasting for some ulterior purpose, such as to promote a purely political end, is not mentioned in the scriptural directions. The scriptures recommend fasting for spiritual advancement, not for some political and or social purpose. Persons who take to such austerities are, according to Bhagavad Gita, certainly demonic. These acts are against the scriptural injunctions and not beneficial for the people in general. Actually, they act out of pride, false ego, lust, and attachment for material enjoyment. By such activities, not only is the combination of material elements of which the body is constructed disturbed, but also the Supreme Personality of Godhead himself living within the body. Such unauthorized fasting or austerities for some political end are certainly very disturbing to others. They are not mentioned in the Vedic literature. A demoniac person may think that he can force his enemy or other parties to comply with his desire by this method. But sometimes one dies by such fasting. These acts are not approved by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he says that those who engage in them are demons. Such demonstrations are insults to the Supreme Personality of Godhead because they are inactive in disobedience to the Vedic scriptural injunctions.
Thank you. So it's the whole point Prabhupada is making here. And so only one point is that they manufacture their modes of austerity and penances that are not mentioned in the scriptures. So that whole point, one point only Prabhupada has mentioned. So what they do, first Prabhupada has given the examples. So they fast, but their purpose of fasting is what? Not we also fast on the day of Ekadashi. And but what is our purpose? And to get a spiritual advancement. But what is these people purpose is? They fasting for some ulterior purpose. And what is that ulterior purpose? To promote a political opposition they do and fasting. So that is purely they have political purpose in that. That is also fasting. But fasting till death, they say. But what is their purpose? Is a political purpose. That is not, they don't have purpose from the Shastra. So they act out of pride and force, ego, lust and attachment. And these are the demoniac person. So now we may wonder, Arjuna is asking in between, people in between, those who are demoniac and demigod. Arjuna is asking about them. Then why Krishna is speaking about these demoniac people in this verse? So answer is that Krishna is forming a basis here in this verse, um, which Arjuna has asked. So what is the basis? These people at the bottom of the three modes, those who are worship within the three modes, these demonic people comes under them, and above them there are people with three modes, and above them there are divine people who worship the Krishna, and those who are in pure goodness. So Krishna is first mentioning the what is at the bottom. At the bottom is demoniac people. So that is then Krishna will go to the persons in the three modes. So that's why Krishna is speaking here about the demoniac. Clear? Then Prabhupada is telling the word achetasaha is significant connection. The person of normal mental condition must obey the scriptural injunction. Those who are not in the position neglect and disobey the scripture and manufacture their own way of austerities and penances. Achetasaha means they do not have chetana, and chetana of the scriptures. They act on their own whims according to their mind. Achetasaha, having a misled mentality. They are misled. They, because they are not following the scriptures, that's why they have misled themselves. And one should always remember the ultimate end of the demoniac people, as described in the previous chapter. The Lord forces them to take birth in the wombs of demoniac person. So with this mentality, and we have studied in 16th chapter, if person with demoniac mentality, Lord forces him to take birth in demoniac species, and at that time we have studied. And after that, Prabhupada is mentioned, consequently, they will live by demonic principles, life after life, without knowing their relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If, however, if such persons are fortunate enough to be guided by spiritual master who can direct them to the path of Vedic wisdom, they can get out of the entanglement and ultimately achieve the supreme goal. And what happens? These persons will fall again and again down. Already they are at the bottom. And if they continue performing the same activities, then again they will go down. Yeah. But if they get association of devotees and bona fide spiritual master, they can go up also. Yeah. So it depends whose association they take. And so, and whether which process they practice. So Krishna has here mentioned the people below the three modes in this verse 5th and 6th. Clear? Then some points we'll see there is difference. Same points are there. So now in next, Krishna is continuing the answer to Arjuna's question. So now Krishna is mentioning about the exact person which Arjuna is asking, the person in the three modes of worship. So Krishna is telling, Aharastvam api sarvasya trividho bhavati priyah yajnas tapas tatha danam tesham bhedam imam shrunu. What Krishna is telling, even the food each person prefers is of three kinds. So three persons means person in the three modes. So we saw they are in the modes. That's why they have corresponding faith. And we saw that depending on faith, they like the particular thing in their faith. So even food which they like is also of three types: and goodness, passion, and ignorance. And first they are in the modes, then they are in the faith, then their liking is also of three kinds. The same is true for sacrifice. And so this is same for food also. And their sacrifice also means yajna. Yajna they do. And the austerities, may tapa they do. And charity, dana they give. And so all these four things are in the three categories according to their liking. So Krishna has here mentioned that food, sacrifice, austerity, and charity in three modes. So actually, Krishna has mentioned that yajna dana tapah karma na tyajam karma eva tat yajno danam tapaschaiva pavanami manishina. So Krishna tells that yajna dana tapa, they purify the pious people also, manishina. So for them also it is purifying. So these are very important activities for person to purify, yajna, dana, and tapa, which are mentioned in the Vedic scriptures. And in 18th chapter also Krishna is mentioning, and they purify even the manishis and even the pious people. Somebody can read purport.
In terms of different situations in the modes of material nature, there are differences in the manner of eating and performing sacrifices, austerities, and charities. They are not all conducted on the same level. Those who can understand analytically what kind of performance are in what modes of material nature are actually wise. Those who consider all kinds of sacrifice or food or charity to be the same cannot discriminate, and they are foolish. There are missionary workers who advocate that one can do whatever he likes and attain perfection. But these foolish guys are not acting according to the direction of the scripture. They are manufacturing ways and misleading the people in general. Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you. What Prabhupada is telling that this already we have explained. And so different situations and they have in different modes, and that's why they have different liking. Here I have mentioned already that because of these differences, they have different liking. They are not conducted, they are not on the same level. Their differences are there. And those who consider all kinds of sacrifice, food, and charity to be same cannot discriminate. And so there is difference. Those who think they are same, they are foolish. So some people they say one can do whatever they likes, and they will get perfection. But this is foolish idea, and these are foolish people. Prabhupada is telling there is difference, and these people they are misleading others. And so Krishna has mentioned there is difference, a difference in this yajna, tapa, and dana. But there are some people who say that there is oneness. So what is the difference? Now Krishna will first he mentioned in terms of the food. Foods in the three modes. Krishna will explain in the 3 verses. 8 to 10. Verse number 8, 8 to 10. Krishna will mention this. What is the first verse? Ayu Sattva Balarogya Sukha Priti Vivardhana Rasya Snigdha Sthira Hridya Ahara Satvika Priya. So, food in the goodness. If one takes food in the goodness, and what happens? Once Ayu will be increased. And Ayu means duration of life. And so, if one take food in the goodness, once duration of life will be increased. And purify one's existence means one's consciousness is purified. One's body will be strength, body will have strength, bala, and one will be healthy and he will not fall sick, and he will be happy and he will be satisfied. And which is the food comes, and these are the characteristics one who honor the food in the goodness. But what is the food in the goodness? That is juicy and fatty, and this is not the animal fat which comes by killing the animal fat, killing the animal, but fat like the milk and wholesome. Wholesome means which is complete and then pleasing to the heart, priya. Radhaya priya. And so this is about goodness Krishna has mentioned. So one may think that how the duration of life is increased by taking food in the goodness. And so how we can understand this? And so we can see that the person in the mode of goodness, he takes the right amount of right quantity and of food. So this is not about devotees. This verse is not about devotees. Krishna is speaking the general person who are in the mode of goodness, and about them, and Krishna is telling. This should be clear. So if one takes food in the goodness, and he will take food in the right quantity. because taking food in the right quantity, he is not overeating. And so Ayurveda says the person who takes the food in the right amount, and so he will live longer. And so Prabhupada also has mentioned in other places that 50% is you take food, and 50% food stomach you can feel, and 25% you can fill with water, and 25% air leave empty. So this Prabhupada has mentioned. So because of this, person's duration of life is increased. And so because of these habits, goodness habits, then he will purify his existence also. Like we know that food shapes our consciousness, and so that's why the person who is eating goodness food in the goodness, and he will his consciousness will come automatically in goodness, and so purification of his existence will happen, and he will get strength also, and he will be healthy. He will be happy and satisfied. So these things will happen. So purport to this 8th verse, Prabhupada has combined 8, 9, 10th verse purport. Together Prabhupada has given for the 10th verse. At that time we'll see. First we'll see the verses and we'll see purport at that time. So now goodness Krishna has mentioned like this. Now Krishna will mention passionate food. He is mentioning Katva Amla Lavanyati Ushna Tikshna Ruksha Vidahina Ahara Rajasa Yasseta Dukkha Shokamaya Prada. Food which are too bitter, too sour, and everything is more salty, and salt is more, and salt is required, but it is more salty, hot. And hot means we should eat hot food, but here hot is very hot, extremely hot, and pungent, dry, and burning, very hot, burning, are dear to those in the mode of passion. Such food cause distress, dukkha, misery, klesh, and roga, prada. Amaya means disease, and shoka means misery, and dukkha means distress. These three qualities. This is in the mode of passion. And so everything, mode of passion means everything is more, too bitter, and everything is more, and that is passion. Once Prabhupada has told that anything excess is passion. And milk comes in which category? Milk comes in goodness, and but somebody over drink the milk, and somebody drinks too much milk, and that comes in the category of the passion. So everything excess quantity and very large quantity is mode of passion. So excess salt, very hot, very pungent, very dry, and burning, and because of that what tikha, and it is burning means very that tikhapan is very more. Tikshna, tikshna is pungent, and that is also there. Tikhanes, tikshna is there, but it is so pungent that it is burning, and the skin. Vidahina. So these are characteristics for the food in the mode of passion, which causes distress, misery, and diseases. So now the food in the mode of goodness, sorry, in ignorance. So yatayamam gatarasam puti paryushitam chayat uchishtam api chamedhyam bhojanam tamasa priyam. What Krishna is mentioning. The food prepared more than 3 hours before. So now we have cooked the food and we are honoring after 3 hours. That comes in the ignorance category. Food that is tasteless and decomposed and rotten, putrid, and food consisting of remnants, and other person has eaten that food, that is remnant, is uchishta, and untouchable things, means impure food is dear to in the mode of darkness, that is dear for the people in the ignorance. So now these 3 verses Prabhupada has written the combined purport. So first he talks about the goodness, then passion and ignorance. So first paragraph somebody can read, which is about goodness.
The purpose of food is to increase the duration of life, purify the mind, and aid bodily strength. This is its only purpose. In the past, great authorities selected those foods that best aid health and increase life duration, such as milk products, sugar, rice, wheat, fruits, and vegetable. These foods are very dear to those in the modes of goodness. Some other foods, such as baked corns and molasses, which are not very palatable in themselves, can be made pleasant when mixed with milk or other foods. They are then in the mode of goodness. All these foods are pure by nature. They are quite distinct from the untouchable things like meat and liquor. Fatty foods, as mentioned in the 8th verse, have no connection with animal fat obtained by slaughter. Animal fat is available in the form of milk, which is the most wonderful of all food. Milk, butter, cheese, and similar products give animal fat in the form which rules out any need for the killing of innocent creature. It is only through brute mentality that this killing goes on. The civilized method of obtaining needed fat is by milk. Slaughter is the way of subhumance. Protein is ample available through split peas, dal, whole wheat, etc.
Thank you. So what is mentioning the purpose? What is the why we eat the food? There are 3 purposes, and to increase the duration of life, and to purify the mind, and to get the strength. So these 3 purposes are there. That's why we eat the food, and all these 3 purposes are served in the mode of goodness. So what is the previous authorities? Their which food comes in this category? So great authorities, Prabhupada is telling, great previous authorities. They are telling the milk products, sugar, rice, and vegetables, fruits, they are in the mode of goodness. And some other foods, and they are not in the goodness. Baked corn and molasses, and they are not very palatable themselves, and they are not in the goodness. But if we have added them with milk, and then they are in the goodness, and then they are in the goodness, Prabhupada is telling. And all this food is pure by nature. And animal fat, that already have mentioned, that animal fat mentioned here is milk, not the meat. And then civilized method of obtaining needed fat is by milk. This is the civilized method. And animal slaughter is the way of subhumans, and it's not meant for humans. And protein is amply available through split peas, dal, whole meat. And some people, they say, for protein, for minerals, we are eating non-vegetarian food. So Prabhupada is telling that no need to eat non-vegetarian. You just take the dal, and whole wheat, roti, peas, dal and peas. So if you take on earth, then you will get lot of proteins and no need to eat non-vegetarian food. So this is about the mode of goodness. And then regarding food in the passion and ignorance, what Prabhupada is telling, that food in the passion, which are bitter, too salty, and too hot, and over hot, overly mixed with red pepper and lot of kalimiri, red pepper, cause misery by reducing the mucus in the stomach and leading to diseases. Food in the mode of ignorance, and this is about passion. In passion, everything is too, and very much. And ignorance. Food in the mode of ignorance or darkness are essentially those are not fresh, and after 3 hours. Any food cooked more than 3 hours before it is eaten, except prasadam food offered to the Lord. And if prasadam we can eat after 3 hours, is considered to be in the mode of darkness because they are decomposing. Such foods give a bad odor, which often attract people in the mode of repulses those in the mode of goodness. Okay. Next paragraph, somebody can read. Now, regarding prasadam, next paragraph is about prasadam, best food.
The remnants of food may be eaten only when they are part of a meal that was first offered to the Supreme Lord or first eaten by saintly person, especially the spiritual master. Otherwise, the remnants of food are considered to be in the mode of darkness and they increase infection or disease. Such foodstuffs, although very palatable to persons in the mode of darkness, are neither liked nor even touched by those in the mode of goodness. The best food is the remnants of what is offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Lord says that he accepts preparations of vegetables, flour, and milk when offered with devotion. Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. Of course, devotion and love are the chief things which Supreme Personality of Godhead accepts. But it is also mentioned that the prasadam should be prepared in particular way. Any food prepared by the injunctions of the scripture and offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead can be taken even if prepared long ago, because such food is transcendental. Therefore, to make food antiseptic, eatable, and palatable for all persons, one should offer food to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. So what Prabhupada is mentioning in the last paragraph, that prasadam is the best food if it is offered to the Lord or spiritual master. So remnants of other person we should not accept, but remnants of the Lord we can accept. And so that point Prabhupada is mentioning. And at the end, he was telling that if prasadam is there, and that we can eat after long ago also, even if made long ago. And this 3 hours rule is not applied for prasadam. And so that's why devotees, they bring prasadam from when they visit various dhams, and they bring prasadam from there, and which is prepared quite some time before. So that's why we can, in case of prasadam, we can accept, but in normal food, we should not accept. And, but as a devotee, we do not accept normal food only and strictly. And when we wear kanthimala, at that time we take vow that I will not eat normal food, I will honor prasadam. But in general principle, Prabhupada is telling. And clear? So this rule of 3 hours doesn't apply to prasadam. in what happened when this industrialization is started and food industry is started, and at that time only people they are not eating the um, food in the goodness, and because what happened because of this food processing industry, they are making the packed food, fast food. So this is also one of the reason, and so why people they are not eating the food in the mode of goodness. And so in ancient times, and when food industry was not there, and then at that time majority of the people used to eat the food in the goodness, and some people they used to eat meat and all, uh, with tamasic food, but majority of the people they used to eat the that's why their age is also more, and those who used to live previously, and their strength is also more, and we see this quality of food in the mode of goodness, and because they used to eat food in the mode of goodness. So now Krishna mentions the uh, sacrifices and in the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. And so he is mentioning afala kamshi bhir yajno vidhi dishtyo ya ijjate yashtavyam eveti manah samadhaya satvika. Sacrifice means yajna, the sacrifice performed according to the direction of the scriptures. So how it is mentioned in the scriptures, and as a matter of duty, as a matter of duty means scriptures has told, and for a human being should perform the sacrifice, and it is the duty of human to perform sacrifice. That's why we perform sacrifice, and this is the meaning, matter of duty, by those who desire no reward. Means when somebody is performing sacrifice, and so what is his why he is performing sacrifice? He doesn't want any material benefit. Then why he is performing sacrifice? Because he thinks that by performing sacrifice I will be purified, and my consciousness will be purified, I will be elevated in the uh, three modes. And so this is his purpose, and that he performs, and to purify his consciousness. So these type of sacrifices comes in the mode of goodness. Somebody can read.
The general tendency is to offer sacrifice with some purpose in mind. But here it is stated that sacrifice should be performed without any such desire. It should be done as a matter of duty. Take, for example, the performance of rituals in temple or in churches. Generally, they are performed with the purpose of material benefits, but that is not in the mode of goodness. One should go to a temple or church as a matter of duty, offer respect to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and offer flowers and eatables with any purpose of obtaining material without any purpose of obtaining material benefit. Everyone thinks that there is no use in going to a temple just to worship God. But worship for economic benefit is not recommended in the scriptural injunction. One should go simply to offer respect to the deities. That will place one in the mode of goodness. It is the duty of every civilized man to obey the injunctions of the scriptures and offer respect to the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
In essence, Prabhupada is telling here that one should perform the sacrifice as a matter of duty. So without any desire, just as a matter of duty. And for example, and one should go to the church, temple. Why should he go? As a matter of duty. And there is no material benefit for person in the mode of goodness. And he should go to temple to offer respects to the Lord, and, and offer flowers, eatables. So this is the person in the mode of goodness. And for what is the duty of civilized men? Then Prabhupada is mentioning, for civilized men, their duty is to obey the injunctions of the scriptures and instructions of the scriptures and respect the supreme personality of Godhead. These two are the purposes of the civilized man. And there should not be any desire for rewards. That beginning only Prabhupada has mentioned. So these are some characteristics for person in the mode of goodness. Then what about the person in the mode of passion? Abhisandhaya tu phalam dambhartham api chaiva ijjate bharata sreshtha tam yajnam vidhirajasam. So what is for the passion? But the sacrifices performed for the material benefit. And this person want money and kingdom and like these kind of material things, and money, kingdom, sons, daughters, and these kind of things he want, or for the sake of pride, and he want to be proud and he want to be become great. O chief of the Bharatas, you should know to be in the mode of passion. So such person is in the mode of passion. He has some purpose in doing the activity. So we understand here that here for the yajna, for sacrifices, the modes are decided on the internal things. So what is in his consciousness and what he has expectation or not. Externally sacrifice is same. External sacrifice is all three modes is same only, but there is in difference in consciousness. Internal difference is there. And somebody has desire, somebody doesn't have desire, and somebody done as a matter of duty, somebody does as a not matter of duty. And so according to that, modes are decided. Sometimes sacrifices and rituals are performed for elevation to the heavenly kingdom, to go to Svargaloka, or for some material benefit in this world. Such sacrifices or ritualistic performances are considered to be in the mode of passion. They have simply desire. That's why they are in the mode of passion. Time is over.